Hello and welcome to Like Totally Awesome. My name is Philip DeFranco, and this morning at 10 a.m. a bunch of people walked into a room to watch what they thought was the most amazing thing on the planet. The Wall Street Journal even said the last time people were this excited about a tablet, there were commandments written on it. So if you want the 5-second summary of what the iPad is, it is a super steroid freak of an iPhone with a Kindle thrown in and a compass, in case you go hiking with your new iPad. But first off, let's talk about the specs. The iPad has a 1 GHz A4 processor, 16 to 64 gigabytes of hard drive space, 9.7-inch screen, fully touch sensitive, half an inch thick, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, accelerometer, and as we said, a compass. Apple's advertised that it has a 10-hour battery, so most likely that means 6-hour battery, and it can go on standby for days. I love that when things don't use electricity, they maintain electricity. That's fantastic. Now first off, you might be wondering why I said that it's essentially an iPhone on steroids. Or you're thinking, why are you so orange? I have bad lighting, but the iPad runs on a very similar OS as the iPhone. Anyone that's ever owned an iPhone instantly knows what to do. And you'll even be able to use iPod Touch iPhone apps on the iPad. A lot of people were wondering, is the iPad a direct competitor to the Kindle? And I would say yes. And the reason it's a direct competitor to the Kindle is because it has that huge screen, and just like the Kindle, you can download books directly to your iPad. On top of course, having iTunes on it, where you can download movies, pictures, music, games. Even though I'm not a huge fan of Apple games, the touchscreen controls for most of the games are very clunky, especially when they go into racing or first-person shooters. Also, thanks to the huge screen, looking at news websites like the New York Times is awesome. You can see the entire page. And then, of course, you come to YouTube. And on the iPad, you can actually watch YouTube in HD. And it looks like a pretty smooth and easy experience. One thing I did notice on some of these websites is it doesn't seem like Flash is enabled, which is a problem many people say plagues the iPhone. But how big of an issue it'll be, we'll see. It's one of those problems that'll be a problem if you use this as your main computer. But I think the people that are actually going to buy the iPad are going to already own Apple products. Jobs then showed off the calendar, mail, iTunes, and with the huge screen, it makes great use of it, as you can see with these pictures. There's a lot of room to get what you want done, and it has an on-screen keyboard, which a lot of my fat-fingered friends will be happy about because the keys are actually touchable. Then, of course, let's move on to iWork. Jobs has wanted to make iWork for the iPhone for the longest time, but, you know, the screen didn't make sense. It looks like a great word processor, but still, until we actually get a full hands-on, will it be easy to use the touchscreen to type? Are you going to have to one-hand it? Is there going to be a cradle? And while you can't have the iPad as a standalone product, it makes more sense to have another computer, because the iPad will sync to your laptop or your desktop just like an iPhone. You plug it in with a connector and connect it to your computer. And there are specific models that don't have just Wi-Fi, but can connect over 3G. And what's really interesting is they have two plans. You can have the 250 megabyte package, or you can go unlimited data transfer for $30 a month. And for anyone that's never jailbroken their iPhone, that's impressive. But it is great to see a legitimate legal way to get all the transfer you need. Also to note, with this 3G service, the AT&T love-hate relationship will continue. The $30 a month unlimited data fee, that's not a contract, it's actually prepaid. You can drop it at any time, and the iPad comes unlocked, so if you go international, just plug in a SIM card and you're set to go. Plus, if you go with this prepaid plan, all AT&T hotspots are free for you. But ultimately, it comes down to how much the iPad will cost. That's the big question, and that's the big decider on whether people will get it or not. A lot of people were saying that it was going to go for $12.99 or $9.99. It turns out the lowest base model, $499. And for the $499, you get the 16 gigabyte version with no 3G. And then, of course, it scales up like this. The only variants on the iPad are whether it's Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi and 3G, and the hard drive space, which is 16, 32, and 64 gigabytes. Now, the iPads with just Wi-Fi, those are going to ship in 60 days, and the iPads with Wi-Fi and 3G are going to ship in 90 days. Then, of course, Apple does what it always does, and it says, ooh, but look at the accessories for it. There's a dock with a keyboard that addresses the problem that we thought it would have, so you can plug in the iPad and just rock out the keyboard, just in case you don't want to have to deal with the on-screen one. As soon as is feasibly possible, we will definitely get an iPad to test out for you guys. But we'll end this with a question. Do you think the iPad is going to be hit or miss? But guys, that's all for the initial announcement of the iPad. My name's Philip DeFranco, and this is Like Totally Awesome.